If there is one habit that can transform a man's life faster than almost any other, it is the habit of doing it now. I have observed thousands of people, from laborers to millionaires, and I have found that the ability to act promptly without unnecessary delay is one of the clearest dividing lines between success and failure. The world is full of men who know exactly what they should do but never seem to get around to doing it. They carried dreams in their hearts for years, always promising themselves that someday they will take action. But someday is a thief. It robs a man of opportunity, erodes his confidence, and fills his life with regret. When I was a young man under the guidance of Andrew Carnegie, he impressed upon me the importance of decisiveness. He said, "A man who hesitates when the moment for action arrives will lose more than he ever knows." Opportunities are never lost, they go to someone else. I have never forgotten those words. The discipline of doing it now is not simply about speed, it is about breaking the mental habit of postponement. Every time you delay a necessary action, you teach your mind that delay is acceptable. Over time, this becomes a reflex, and you find yourself hesitating not only over great decisions, but over the smallest tasks. The successful man cultivates the opposite reflex. He trains himself to act promptly on any decision once it has been made. He does not wait for the perfect moment because he knows it rarely comes. He moves forward knowing that action creates momentum, and momentum opens doors that hesitation would have left closed. When I was developing the principles of success, I taught my students to repeat the phrase, "Do it now," aloud dozens of times each day. This may seem simple, even childish, but it reconditions the mind to favor immediate action over delay. It creates an inner urgency that drives you to move instead of merely think about moving. In this way, "do it now" becomes more than a phrase. It becomes a discipline, a mental command that overrides fear, procrastination, and laziness. And once it becomes a habit, it will serve you in every area of life, from business decisions to personal relationships, from creative pursuits to health. Procrastination is the brother of fear. Wherever you find one, you will find the other lurking nearby. A man who hesitates to act is often not lazy. He is afraid. Afraid of failure, afraid of criticism, afraid of making the wrong choice. But here is the irony. Indecision is itself a decision to do nothing, and it almost always leads to worse results than choosing boldly and learning from the outcome. You can recover from a wrong turn more easily than from standing still. I have known men who delayed sending a letter, making a call, or introducing themselves to someone of influence, and watched the opportunity slip into the hands of another who acted at once. A moment's hesitation cost them what might have been the turning point in their careers. When you adopt the discipline of doing it now, you train yourself to meet fear with movement. Fear thrives in inactivity. It grows larger the longer you stand still. But the instant you act, you rob it of its power. You replace the paralysis of worry with the confidence that comes from progress, however small. Decisiveness is more than just a personal virtue. It is a signal to others. People are drawn to those who act. In business, in leadership, in daily life, prompt action inspires confidence. It tells the world this is a person who can be trusted to follow through. Andrew Carnegie once told me of a man he hired on the spot simply because, when given an instruction, the man left the room and began working on it immediately, no delay, no debate, no excuses. He said, "I can teach skills, but I cannot teach urgency." That man went on to become one of his most valuable associates. The discipline of doing it now creates a compounding effect. One prompt action leads to another, and soon you have a chain of accomplishments where others have only a list of intentions. This chain builds momentum, and momentum multiplies opportunity. The more you act, the more doors appear. The more you hesitate, the fewer options remain. If you wish to cultivate this habit, begin small. When you see a task that can be done in 5 minutes or less, do it at once. When you think of a call you should make it now. When you realize you owe someone thanks or encouragement, speak it immediately. Over time, your mind will begin to treat action as the natural next step after recognition. Remember, the discipline of doing it now is not about recklessness. It is about replacing hesitation with decisive movement. You will make mistakes, you will take some wrong turns, but those mistakes will teach you more than hesitation ever could, and they will carry you forward toward your goals instead of leaving you anchored in someday. The habit of doing it now is a builder of self-confidence. Each time you act without delay, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of making decisions and carrying them through. This is not theory. It is a law of the mind. Confidence grows from use, just as muscles grow from exercise. I have met men who possess the knowledge to achieve great success but lacked the confidence to act upon it. They were forever waiting for more information, for conditions to improve, for some sign that the risk had vanished. But while they waited, bolder men, sometimes less talented, sometimes less informed, moved forward and claimed the rewards. When you act promptly, you send the message to your own subconscious: I can be trusted to follow through. Over time, this builds an inner reputation with yourself, one that is worth more than any title or position. You begin to expect action from yourself, and this expectation becomes self-fulfilling. Doing it now also strengthens persistence. Many believe persistence is simply the refusal to quit, but it is more than that. It is the ability to keep taking the next step when the goal still seems far away. When you train yourself to act immediately on the small steps in front of you, persistence becomes natural. You stop thinking of the journey as a distant finish line and focus on the action at hand. I remember counseling a young salesman who struggled to meet his quotas. When I asked how many calls he made each day, he admitted that he often delayed them, waiting for the right mood or the perfect time. I challenged him to make his first call within 5 minutes of starting work each morning, no matter how he felt. He resisted at first, but once the habit took hold, his confidence soared and his sales doubled within 3 months. Why? Because he stopped feeding his doubts with delay. There's another hidden benefit to acting at once. You create opportunities for feedback. Action produces results, some favorable, some not, but either way you gain information you can use to improve your approach. Inaction produces nothing but speculation. You cannot adjust a course you have not begun. The discipline of doing it now is like the spark that starts an engine. Without it, all the fuel, your knowledge, your skills, your plans, remains dormant. With it, you set everything in motion, and motion is the lifeblood of achievement. If you wish to become a person of influence, a leader in your field, a master of your own destiny, make this your creed: when I see what needs to be done, I act immediately. That simple rule, applied daily, will lift you above the masses who are still waiting for someday. Opportunities are like birds. They appear suddenly, they hover briefly, and if you do not seize them, they are gone. The man who hesitates loses more than just a chance. He loses the trust of life itself. For life will not keep offering its treasures to one who continually turns them away. I have witnessed this truth many times. A business deal is proposed, but the man says, "Let me think about it." By the time he decides, the contract is in another's hands. A position opens in a company, but the man delays applying, and someone else less qualified but quicker to act takes the job. A valuable contact is made, but the man puts off following up, and the connection fades. These are not tragedies of bad luck. They are the inevitable result of indecision. When you train yourself in the discipline of doing it now, you give yourself a decisive advantage in a world full of hesitant men. You become the one who answers first, who moves first, who claims the open space before it closes. Now, let me make this clear. Doing it now does not mean leaping blindly into every proposition. It means making decisions promptly once you have the necessary facts. There's a difference between acting rashly and acting decisively. The first is gambling. The second is leadership. During my years of research, I studied hundreds of the most successful men in America. Without exception, they were quick to reach decisions and slow to change them. They did not waste time circling the same question over and over. They gathered the essential information, weighed carefully, and then moved forward with conviction. And because they acted, they learned, and because they learned, they acted even more effectively the next time. There is a rhythm to opportunity. It comes, it peaks, it fades. If you are too slow to act, you miss the peak and are left chasing what is already gone. But if you are alert, prepared, and decisive, you catch it at the moment of greatest advantage. Here's a rule I have lived by: never let a worthy opportunity pass twice. If it comes to you again after you have once declined it, take it as a gift, for life rarely offers a second chance. But better still, train yourself to recognize and act upon it the first time it appears. Opportunities favor the man of action because action creates readiness. The more you act, the more capable you become of acting well. The more you delay, the more you condition yourself to miss the moment. The habit of doing it now is not a trick you use once in a while. It is a way of living. When it becomes part of your nature, it influences every decision, every conversation, every opportunity. It sharpens your thinking, strengthens your character, and multiplies your results. I have watched men transform their entire lives simply by adopting this one discipline. They stop postponing the uncomfortable tasks, and in doing so, they remove the constant weight of unfinished business from their minds. They found themselves moving faster, thinking clearer, and accomplishing more in a single year than they had in the previous 5. To make this principle permanent, you must drill it into your subconscious until it becomes automatic. Here's the method I have given to my students. Repeat the phrase, "do it now," aloud 50 times in the morning and 50 times at night for at least 30 days. Each time you catch yourself about to postpone an action, repeat it again, then take the step immediately. At the end of each day, list the things you might have delayed but instead acted upon. This creates a constant awareness of the habit and reinforces it until it becomes second nature. As the habit grows, you will notice changes beyond your productivity. Your confidence will increase because you will know yourself to be a man of action. Others will begin to trust you more because you have shown that you do not let things linger undone. Opportunities will seem to come more often not by magic, but because you will be in motion, and motion attracts chances. Understand this: life will not wait for you. The man who waits for perfect conditions will live and die waiting. The man who moves forward despite uncertainty will, through trial and error, reach places the cautious never see. So make this your creed. If it needs to be done, I will do it now. Say it until it becomes your instinct. Live it until it becomes your reputation. For in the end, it is not the man who knows the most, or even the man who plans the most, who rises to the top. It is the man who acts when the time to act has come. And for the man of true decisiveness, that time is always the same. The time is now.